in the last class, we agreed that we should go through the HTML essential training assignment together. So we will start from we will do it together. We link the CSS with the HTML and we style it accordingly. Now, this was the assignment.
sir.
This was the assignment, if you remember, right? Now, if I run this, let me take it to the.
Well, you're not sharing yet.
Oh, okay. I'm not sharing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where is that? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Uncle. I can
Good.
see.
So this was the assignment. Let me go to the browser and paste. Yes. Can you all remember this assignment? Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. And I said I
Yes, sir.
want I think I shared the output there. Hold on, let me go to the no, not yet. I think I shared the output here. I'm trying to see, go back to the this one. We agree that it should look close to this. Right. So now let us start afresh, right, to mimic this image. We need to format our HTML structure or element to look close to this, if not exactly like this. So let's go back to the code. Now, if you look at this, you will see that it's more like H1 element. So I'm going to put this this HTML essential training into its H1 element. Let me annotate here. So this will be H1 element. Now this one looks like a subheading. So I'm going to put this one into H2 element. And this one, it looks more like a lower level to this. So I'm going to put this one to maybe H3 and this one the same, H3, H3. And these other ones, paragraph, and this was also paragraph, and this paragraph, this every other one here, everything here, paragraph. Then this one will be in the address tag. So let us quickly achieve this. So let's go back to, okay, let me clear my screen so that what I wrote down will not distort what we are doing. So now this is a code. Let me close this one. So now I'm going to put this into H1 element tag. H1 element tag. If anyone is having question as I'm typing, please let me know. And why is this doing this? H1, okay. It's already here. Just got this one out. So now HTML essential training is inside H1 tag. So let us view that first before we move on. So that is that. Any question on that? I want an answer. Any question on that?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. So now let's go on. And I said this will be in H2 tag. Then I want this to be in H3 tag. This one in paragraph tag. This one too in paragraph tag. Okay, it's too long. Let me just bring it down here so that we can see what we are doing. P tag. So let me see whether we are getting close. So this, okay, let's see. Okay. So now this is what we have so far. This H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag, the P tag, then this already is inside the P tag. So let us continue, or let's compare with, yes, it looks close to that. So now let us apply H3 tag to using paragraph and line breaks. So let's go to the code. So we have using paragraphs, H3 tag, line breaks, yes, H3 tag, then paragraph here, P tag, then this one also P tag. Let me just bring everything down so that it will be, you can see it as is. Let me see whether these two, I want to see whether the occasionally to closing tag is in its P tag. Let me see. Yes, this is in its P tag. So this one is in another P tag. So let's see, and in its own P tag. Okay, then this in address tag. So let's view it. Okay, so now we are getting somewhere. Is there any question in what I just did? Is there any question in what I just did?
No, sir.
Okay, Joshua, any question in what I just did?
No.
You said what? No?
Yes, Uncle said no.
Okay. I know David will not have any question. Now, Ifoma, Saifoma, I know you are just joining, and this is your second time in class.
Yes.
Let me, please, don't be ashamed. Just stop me. This is this assignment is more like revising the basic HTML tags done in the past. So if you have any question, just be free. This is like going back. Aha. So just ask me. So do you have any question?
No.
You said what?
No.
No. All right. Thank you, madam. Now, when we are writing our codes, it is better we put them in proper formatting. You know, like what I just did now, you will see that the indentation is not too good. So it is better to have your content well indented. For example, this is what I mean. Look at this HTML here, right? This line should go down to the closing HTML without any obstruction. And you can see that this H3 already is obstructing that line. It should not be. And similarly, this H2 is obstructing that line. It should not be. Now look at also the body, right? The line should go down to the body. The purpose of the line is just to ensure that your tags are well closed. Nothing more, nothing else. You can see that without me even obeying the indentation policy, my code is still working. You can see it's still working. So it's just for presentation sake, right? So now let me watch me as I push my content inward to have those indentations. So now, first of all, I want to see my head line going to this other headline. You know, this is the opening tag. Okay, for the sake of Sister Ife, so let me quickly make a little indentation. Where's my pencil? Okay. Now, remember that if you open a tag, now this is tag opening. This one is tag opening. And you must close it. We close our tag by /h, then the name of the element. So this is closing. You are closing your tag, right? It is best practice to close your tags. However, there are few other tags that are self-closing. They close by themselves. For example, the image tag. If I open an image tag, img tag, right? If I want to close it, I will use a self-closing tag like / and this. And every other thing here is attribute, just like we can have attributes here, right? So this is called a self-closing tag. I do not need to do image img then /img. No, I do not need to do this for image tag. The same thing is applicable for anchor tag. Anchor tag is the A tag. No, okay, not A tag. A tag, you still need to close it. What other tag is that? I mean, I'm trying to remember. If I remember, I will let you know. There are other tags apart from the image tag that do not need closing, right? You still close your A tag.
BR,
Yes, your BR tag, yes.
HR.
Your BR tag, the HR tag, yes, the HR tag. So those are examples of self-closing tags. So now let me continue with this. Now, this is the opening tag. This is the closing tag. Now you can have whatever thing your content here, maybe like the HTML essential trading, essential. Right, we call this the content. This is the content. The content. And everything like this from there down here, we call it the element. This is the element. So because this is H1 now, we call it H1 element. So the opening tag, the closing tag, the content, and everything is called the H1 element, depending on the type of tag you are using. If you are using the paragraph tag P, then you close your P, right? Everything like this with the content is the P element, or for short we call it P tag. But in real sense, oh, just this one is a tag, this is another tag, right? But everything together is the P element, is the element, because the element consists of the tag and the content in between the tag, right? Any question, Ify?
No.
All right, thank you so much. So now,
Thank you.
so let me okay, so I want to indent this one also inward, right? Now you can see the moment I indented, the line from this opening tag gets to the closing tag here. So that is best practice. It's just for visual presentation. Similarly, I will push this in from here, right? I want the body to go all the way down to the body closing tag. So I will push this in also. I will push this in also. This one in and this one in. Now you can see that the body opening tag is in alignment with the closing body tag. Now similarly, I'm going to drop this down. I want to be seeing my closing tag. You can see the H2 tag closing with its own closing tag. Similarly, drop this down. Remember, I said this is just for visual presentation. It has nothing to do with whether your code is working or not, right? So I'm going to format this also. Drop my closing P tag here. You can see it's now in alignment. Then the H3 tag. I'm going to drop this and drop this also. Then the P tag, drop that and drop this also. Is in sync. You can see the line flowing properly now. This is in line with its closing tag. This also is in line with its closing tag. This is in line with its closing tag. Do you understand? So I'm going now this okay, let me just take, because this one is not closing anything, so that I can now move this one a little bit backward, right? So this now, let me close up this space. This space is not needed, although it is good to have a little space so that you can distinguish, you can see through each of the tags. Then the P tag also, I want this one down there, the line break. So the H3 tag, then the P tag also go down. Then this one I will take in, then push this one in like that. So the P opening is in sync with the okay, it's okay, good. So it's now in sync with is closing tag. Similarly, this I will take this in, then bring this down. Okay, so now I want you to see something here. right? Now, this one I can push here, then close this one down there. Any questions so far in what I just did? So you can now see that the HTML opening tag is in sync with its closing tag, and similarly, the head in sync with its closing tag. The body is in sync with its own closing tag, and so on and so forth. Any question on the formatting? Is there any question? This is, you can see that there's no difference in what we achieved. Any question? Any question?
No.
Joshua, any question? I want to be, I'll be calling names now because I want it to be interactive. Where is my,
Yeah. Understanding and hearing.
speak out, please. I can't hear you,
I
Joshua.
said that I'm hearing and I understand.
Okay, you understand. Feromi, any question?
No, sir.
Thank you. David, okay, David has gone because I know he's above this class anyway. Okay, so I've explained to Sister Ife, so let us continue. Now, if we compare this so far, this is what we have been able to achieve with our goal. This is our goal. We are getting close to it. Am I right? Apart from the fact that the HTML essential training is centered and is in a background, a dark background, and similarly the what's it called, the lines, as you can see the lines there, and also this other line, and this is well more indented as we have in our in our uh, in our work, and also the address is pushed to the far left. Apart from that one, every other thing is okay. So now let us now go and try to achieve this styling that we want. So let's go back to the code. Now, for us to style this HTML document, we need to include the what's it called, the CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. I'm saying this for the sake of Saifi. So CSS, where is my pencil again so that I can annotate? Hold on, please. Okay. Now I said CSS. And CSS simply means cascading. It's a cascade style sheet. So that is the meaning of CSS. Now, how do we include CSS into our HTML? Now, in any web page development, there are three things that, or let me just say three technologies that we need to learn. Number one is the HTML, which we are learning, or let me say, which we have learned, the CSS, which we are currently learning, and the JavaScript, Java, JAVE, then script, which we are going to learn in the future. This is in the future. So these three technology they work together for us to have that beautiful web pages that we visit every time. Every time we visit a page, just know that these three technologies are working together to give us that beautiful page. Now, that begs the question of, where's the pencil again? The question of, now, how do we merge the three to work together to give us that page. Now, let us say this is HTML document, right? Let's say this is HTML, right? There are three ways we can integrate, three ways to integrate CSS into HTML. Now, number one is we use inline attributes. Then number two, there is what we call internal or embedded CSS. Then three is the external CSS. External. Now, let me quickly run over it. You see this inline, right? We put our CSS into the opening tag. Remember, I said we open our tag and we close our tag, right? Now, this inline integration, inline CSS, we always include it in the opening tag, not in the closing tag, in the opening tag. Now, the internal, we include it within the head section, this head section, this between this head section, in its own style tag, in its own style tag. You have to give it this style tag and you close that style tag. You close the style tag as if you are writing HTML. So now this style element goes in between the head section. I will see demonstrate. Now, this external integration, external CSS, now you have a separate sheet for your CSS, and you write your CSS code here. And once you write your CSS code here, you now link it into your HTML and also in the head section using the link tag. And the link tag is self-closing also. The link tag, link, L-I-N-K, link, is self-closing also. And the moment you write this link tag inside the head, down you have to specify how the HTML can go and pick up the file by using the href tag. So once you give it this href, attribute rather, href attribute, you now specify the name. Let me say I call this CSS file name, I call it let's say I call it my CSS dot CSS, right? I will now link it here, my CSS dot CSS. Now you see this dot CSS is what we call the file extension, and it is important in our code, extension. So it's the file extension. Now, it is so important. The reason is this: it enables the browser to know that, okay, this file is the CSS. Now, the file for the HTML also ends with dot, whatever name you give it, whatever name you give your file, whatever you name, it must end dot HTML. That is how the browser will know that, yes, this file is what? An HTML document file. Similarly, for the JavaScript, it ends with whatever name you give to it, whatever name, dot, it always ends with dot JS. So these file extensions, they are very, very important, right? So that your browser will know that, oh yes, this is this is HTML file, this one is a CSS file, and this one is JavaScript file. So let me continue. Is there any question before I clean the board? Any question?
No.
Okay, no.
No.
Thank you. So now let's quickly go on because we have about 20 more minutes left. So now, having said that, let me quickly explain, just demonstrate inline styling here. Let me close this pen. Okay, yes. So now I want to give, just for the demonstration's sake, I will go back because eventually we go back to my external style sheet because that's the best practice to attach your CSS. So if I want to style this HTML essential training, I will come into the closing opening tag here. I will write style. We call this the attributes. Any other thing apart from the HTML tag, we call them attributes. So style is an attribute that we are writing now for this H1 tag. So style equal, then I will put my style in what? In quotes, in a double quote. Now, let us say I want to give this a background or color of black. Let's just say background of background of black, and I want this font to be white in color. Let us see the present state it is. You can see the font is black and his background is white. So let us turn it to let's turn the background to black and the font to white. So let's see. I will call the background color property and I will give it black. Now let me explain this. You see this? We call this one the property, and we call this the value for this property, right? And you can see there's a column in between them, the property and its value. Now, everything together is this CSS declaration, right? Now, I have done the background black. Let us view the effect of that before we continue. You can see down the background is black. Now, we cannot see the content. We can't see this HTML essential training. Why? Because if you remember, the font color is black also. So black is blending with its black background, and that is why the contrast between them is 0. So if you want to see the content again, that is the reason why we need to change the font color by just saying color, right, to white. We give it a value of what? White. Like that. You can see. Look at this is the first declaration. This is another declaration. And notice that the two are separated by what? A semicolon. You can see that semicolon there. However, the property and its value, they are separated by column. Just note these nuances. These are the things that you should be noting when writing. Let me repeat. The style attribute, we now assign the property value to this style attribute. Now, in the style attribute, we have the property, what we want to address, what we want to style, what property are we trying to give a value? In this case, the background. we give it a black. Now, because after giving it a black background, the color of the font is also black, and therefore there's no contrast between them. And because of that, we cannot see the content any longer. For us to view the content, remember this is the content. For us to view this content, we need to turn its own color to white. And that is the reason why we are doing this, right? If we go now to the code, you can now see that we can view the HTML essential training back. Right. Now, you can see that this is still on the left hand side. And if you recall, this is what we are trying to do. It is censored here. So it's very simple. Once you go to back to your code, you say test align. Now this test align, just from the word test align property, this test is targeting the content of the tag, this where you are writing this style attribute. So we are saying this content, we want it to go to the center. And if you go back to the code, and you can see now it has centered. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
All right.
So,
Thank you. Sister, if you any question?
No.
No. Okay. Now, this is how we do inline. This is inline styling. Inline. This one here is inline styling. Right? Now, for us to do internal, remember I said that this one goes into, we write it in between the style element, right? But the style element goes into the head section here. Let me clear the screen then so that we can achieve that. Now, for us to do the internal, we come here, we write the style tag, right? Then remember here, when we were writing this inline styling, right? We wrote it inside the H1. Why is that? Because that is the tag we are targeting. That is the tag we are interested in at that particular point in time. Now, for you to use internal, right? Since since between this tag element, there's no tag. Now we need to still target this particular H1. And how do we do that? We first of all specify our selector. We call this selector. Let me now explain. Oh, sorry, I unshare. Let me quickly go back. So now let me explain. Now for the inline, I said it will go in between the style elements, right? Now, the particular tag we are trying to target, in this case, H1, we will write it first, H1. Then the moment we write this, we open a curly bracket, open and close it. I always advise this. The moment you open a bracket, always close it. Now, this time around, we call this the selector. We call it the selector. It is no longer called a tag because it is now inside a style tag. And it is a selector because we are trying to select this element here, this old element, this element. Oh, sorry, this one, this H1 element, everything here, right? So it's a selector. If you want to target this H2 here, we also select this H2, this one, and we also write H2 here and give it opening curly brace and immediately always close it. Although if you are using IDE like this visual code, it will automatically close it for you. That is the good thing about IDE. It helps you to format your code. Now, having said that, so now you see everything that is here that we put in here, right? We now transfer it into the H1 selector inside within this curly brace. So for example, we now put this background color, I will use just short and so that because of time, I will now do column, the same column, then give it my value black, then semicolon to separate the declarations. Now this one color, I will say color here white, semicolon. This last one, text align, I will say center. Now, doing this, we give us exactly the what we have in our browser. So let us clear this and demonstrate what I just explained. So now I've written my selector, right? So all I need to do is just to copy this, everything here, paste. The next one, copy, paste there. Then the last one here, copy and paste. So I can now remove this style attribute in there. If we go back, you will see there's no difference. Refresh it as many times as you want, you see it's exactly the same. Now, to prove that the internal CSS is working, let us give it a padding, all-round padding of, say, 20 pixels. I will explain this, Sister Ify. So let's see this. You can see that there's now space between the border of the elements and the content. Let me remove it again so that you will see the difference. Go back. You can see, look, without the padding, you can see that the HTML essential training is very close to the border of this H1 tag. Very close to it, you can see. Very close. But if I put in this padding, let me increase the value of the padding to 40. Go back, you can see. Now I have space here, space here. There is also a space here, right? Because it is all round padding. I did 40 pixels here, 40 pixels here, 40 pixels here, 40 pixels here. Now let me quickly explain three things. The padding. I want to explain the padding because of the Ify, padding, margin, border. Right. Now, when you write any code, any tag, everything is inside a box, rectangular box. For example, this H1 is a box. H1 is a box. P tag also is a box. like that. Everything is in a box. And that is why there is a topic we treated back called the box model. This is all the box model. Now, when you write your H1 tag and you put your content here, right? Let me just say content here. Like, for example, this HTML essential training is a content. Now, without you doing much, let me quickly explain. The space between this border, the border of your tag and the content, right, is the padding. The padding. The space here, padding, padding, padding. Now, that is this one, padding. So we have the padding top, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left. Similarly, now this border is this. This is a border. We have the top, border top, we have the border top, the border right, this one, this border, and we have the border bottom, and we have the border left. I can increase this border if I so desire. We will demonstrate that later. Similarly, this margin, see this margin is similar to padding, but there's a, but we have differences. Number one difference is this. Padding is the space between the border and its content. But margin is the space between the border and another border of another element. So between here and here is margin. This is margin. Now I can say with reference to this H1 that this is margin bottom, margin top, margin right, and margin left. Any question on what I just explained?
No.
Any question? Sister Saifi, any question?
No, no question.
Okay. Joshua, any question?
No, no question.
No question. Feromi, any question?
No question.
No question. All right. Let me see who else do I have here. Favor, any question?
No, no question.
No question. Okay. All right. Good. So now let us use, I've used the padding, one of the properties I just explained now, padding here. That is exactly what I just explained, used here, right? Let me clear the board. Now, if you look at the padding we gave ours, is kind of too much compared to this. I think this one, the way I'm looking at it, should be around 20 pixels. So I'm going to change this back to 20 pixels. So let's go back to the code. 20 pixel. So let's see our code, not this one. Okay, it's more like it now. Now, that is, this one is what? Internal CSS. Everything here is internal CSS. And you can see everything goes in between the head section. Whereas the inline goes into the opening tag as attribute. The attribute name is style, and we give it these properties, right? We have demonstrated that earlier. So now let's quickly go to external site sheet. In external, if you recollect, I said the CSS will go into a separate sheet, which I will need to create a separate file for here. Now, let me quickly, let me see, do I have a, okay. Now I have a style sheet here, but I'm going to create another one for, I don't want to use the old one I have. I want us to do it together so that you see it as it is being done from scratch. So what I will do now is I will create a file here. I will name it Joshua.css. Remember, .css. This file extension is super important. So I'm going to open it up. Now, this is my CSS file, which I named Joshua. Now, I need to link this file to my HTML file. Let me link it now. If I want to link it, I will use the tag link. Remember I said that this one is also a self-closing tag. Now I've created this link tag. Now, how do I now link this HTML file to the Joshua file? Remember I said I will use my href tag attribute now, and I will now link this file to here. Now take notes of what is about to happen. Look at your file structure. Let me close this. Okay, yes. Look at your, now this is the root file. Let me annotate. This one needs to be annotated. Now, this is your root file. This is your folder, your home folder, the parent folder. Let's say this is the parent folder. In this case, web dev class. Let me just use the web dev class, right? Now, inside this web dev class, we have assignment folder. Please pay attention, but this is important. If you do not get this, linking your external sheet will be difficult. Now, this one is a folder. I'm using the box to represent a folder. This is a folder. And I have another folder called the box model here. Box model is a folder too. And we have file. The file is this assignment underscore 05/12/2023 dot HTML. And also I have assignment underscore solution. I won't write the full name of that one, blah, 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 then dot HTML there. Now, look at, now we are here. This is where we are right here. This is the file we are editing. This file, you can see it here, 05/12/2023. This is the file. This is where we are. And we need to go and link a file from another folder into this HTML file. Please pay attention. Pay attention. Now, remember that 1, 2, 3, and 4 resources. We call them resources actually. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are right inside this parent folder. This parent folder. Now, let's assume that the CSS file is here. Something, 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 something .css. How do we link it? Because this .css is in the same folder, the same parent folder with your file. You only specify / then the name of that file, .css. I repeat, because your CSS file is in the same parent folder, you can see the tree, right? They are in the same folder, this web dev class folder, right? So you just do the / then the file name. You can as well omit this. You can just write the file name .css into this href attribute. Href attribute equal this. You can do either of these two. But the best practice is to include this. Though, if you omit it, when the two files they are in the same folder, it will still work just like we have it here. This will work. Let me change my color. Where is the color again? This will work. This will work. Right? Any questions so far? No question. Good. Now, let us assume, let me clean this out. I'm cleaning this out so that just so, Now, let us assume that the CSS is in this folder. Now, we have the CSS here. .css inside this folder. Now, you can see that this CSS file is no longer in the same parent as this. So we need to go into this box model, then to find the file. In that case, what we do is include this box model, right? We go to the parent, by saying ... then we now come to this box model here. Box model, because we go to this parent, then we come here. Box model, then /, then we now go to the file. .css. I hope it is clear. Okay. Let us demonstrate what we just said. Now, if you look at our CSS, our CSS is right inside this assignment folder, and which is also a container for this CSS. So for us to get to that place, we need to move from here to this parent, then come to assignment. We come from here to this parent, then from here to the assignment, then from the assignment to the CSS folder before we can have access to the file. So let us try to achieve that. Okay, so I will do, let me do dot first, just dot /. Now you can see that I can see my assignment folder already. This is the assignment folder here. All I need to do is now. Can you see the CSS? No, you cannot. Why? Because the CSS is embedded, is right inside this folder. But therefore I need to go into that folder first. I click on it. Now I am inside the folder, right? Now I can see CSS, but I still cannot see joshua.css. I need to go into this CSS folder by going into it. Now I can see the three files, the three.css, 1, 2, 3. You can see 1, 2, 3. Which one am I interested in? It is the joshua.css. And that is how I can link my CSS to my HTML file. There's one more attribute I need to include. It's called the relationship attribute. It's just to state that, okay, this link is a style sheet. That is all. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? No question. Okay. So now, because I've linked Joshua to my HTML file, I can now remove this content exactly as is. I'll just take it out and I'll paste it in there. I can delete this one out now. I don't need this style element any longer. So if I go back, you will see that my content remains the same. Any question on what we have just done? No question. Okay. Now, let's go back to our, now look at this. There's a line here. I can either, there are two ways I can achieve this line. First, I can use, where is it? I can put the HR tag here. Remember, HR tag is a self-closing tag, right? I can do this, and let's go back to our browser. You can see we have that line there. Or there's another way we can do it. I can decide to remove this HR, we call this horizontal rule. Let me quickly annotate that. HR means horizontal rule. So I can either use this or I can ignore that entirely. I prefer this method. Now, there's what we call sectioning elements. We discussed about that earlier, long ago. Sectioning elements. Example of sectioning elements are the div tag, the article tag, section tag itself, section tag, aside. These are just examples. Footer, and so on. There are many actually. I wish I may not. There's also main. There's a main, right? So, what are these section elements? They are basically to divide your content into, maybe into different sections, right? Now I'm going to use now there's header, this header tag. There's header tag. There's nav. Yes, nav. So I'm going to use this header tag. I'm going to use this header tag in here now. I will put everything here inside header tag. So I will do header tag Now cut everything here, put in there. Now, let us see whether is there any difference in what I just did. You will see that there's no difference. Let's go back to the code. You can see no difference at all. What I just did is just to separate this one into its own section called header. That's all. Nothing more. So now I can now decide to give this my header section element a bottom border, right? So let's go. I purposely use this one to explain what we have learned in the past. So I have used this header element to section this out, right? So I can now do a formatting on this header tag. So if I just copy this header tag, go to my external sheet, selector header. Let me format it well. Then give it a bottom, a margin bottom, because I want a margin bottom because I want that line to be as a bit thicker. So I want to give this a margin of say 1.5 pixel. I want it solid and I want it black. If I go back to you will not see anything. Why? Because that margin is black and is also laying on a black background. Let me give it a different color so that you see what I'm talking about. Let's say red. Oh, it's still not showing. Okay, let me give that. You see, this is the reason why I said let's do it from scratch so that you see everything together. Margin. Oh, sorry, I said margin. Border. It's a border I want to target, not margin. It's a border. Yes. Let's go back to our. Yes, now you can see it. Right. So let's turn out the color back to black. You can see that even programmers make mistakes. You cannot do without making mistake, and that is why we have what we call bugs in programs. And once there are bugs, they will go back to debug it and correct issues. So now I have that border there, just like we have in our model. Where's our model again? I think this one. Yes, this is our model. You can see. Now let us go to the next one. So any questions so far?
No.
Any questions so far? Good. I will be more faster now because of our time. Our time is fast spent. Now look at this. Look at this. This one, right, has a kind of border here, right? How do I achieve this? I will need to put all this content here in a section also, in a sectioning element, so that I can give it a border here. Let's quickly do that. Let me clean. If we can't finish today, right, I will soon round up now. We continue on Tuesday. So then we continue from where we stopped. And please go through the video again so that it's just for you to let the concept sink. So now let's go back to the code. Now this is the code. Now this is the content I'm talking about, from this formatting page content to this one. Let's go back to the model. This is the model here, right? Oh no, that's our content. From formatting the page content to planning your site. So now we put everything there into its own section. So we do maybe let's do main here. Main. Then we cut everything here and put it into that sectioning element there. You can see, if we run this code, you won't see any difference at all. Let's go to our code. Now you can see there's nothing different at all. Now, we need to push this away, at the same time give it what? A border on the left-hand side. Remember, go to the model. This line is on the left-hand side. And you can see this content here is indented somehow. So let us try to give this one a margin, right? No, not margin, sorry, border. Why am I saying margin all the time? So now, remember, this is a container. This main, just like header, is a container for this H1 element. This main tag is a container for all these contents, from the H2 to the P tag, the last P tag there. Therefore, we can target this main. So I will copy that main, come to my CSS main, then give it a style of also a border, or this time border on the left hand side, left. Let me just, because it is thinner, so I will give it 0.5 pixel solid also. Let's go back to our code. So now you can see that border right there. Let's go to our model. Our model, you can see that the border is kind of shifted inward a bit, away from, let me annotate. Look at where this is, this line, this rule, this one, and these are aligned. But you can see that this border is somehow a bit indented inward. There's an indentation here. Now, to achieve that, remember what I said about margin. Margin gives space between that element and any other thing, any other element. Remember, everything is enclosed in the body tag. So let us go to our code. Let me clear the screen. So going back to our code, look at this. Everything is enclosed in this body tag. Look at the body tag encloses this. So we can therefore push this main away from this body by using the margin. Let's go to our styling. So I can now say margin on the left, margin left. Let's give it a value of maybe 10 pixels, for example, and see how far it has gone to. Yes, no, this is the model. Now you can see now it is what indented a bit. So 10 pixels is okay. Now there's another thing that you should notice. Look at this one also. There is what indentation here. There's a space between the content of the main what's it called, main div. I'm sorry, main tag, main element. There's a space in between it, and that is what padding does. We are going to give it a padding of maybe 10 or 20 pixels here to push this content away from this border. So let's try to achieve that. Let's clear. Go back to the code. Presently, we are here. See, everything is crashed up together with the border. So let us go and push it away from the border. Let's go to the code. So we do padding. Padding where? On the left hand side. That is where that is the property we are interested in. Let's give it also a 10 pixel padding and see the effect. Now you can see it has gone away from the border. Any question? Any question? Any question? No question. Let me call names. Let me call names. Where is my Favor? Any question, Favor?
No, sir.
No question. Joshua, any question?
No, not that. No. So
Okay, Fenomi, any question?
No.
No question. Sister Wajesu, any question?
No, sir.
Sister Ify, any question?
No.
Okay, good. So we are going to stop here today because our time is fast spent. Now your assignment is this. Look at the rest. Yeah, this rest. Try to format it to our model, this model. This model. Now, what is left is this to achieve this indentation, right? For all this content or everything like this, you can see that is indented away from the body, right? Don't mind my drawing. It should be a straight line. So there's indentation there, and also there's a line here, and the address is pushed to the left hand side. Currently, this is where we are. Let me clear the screen. Currently, this is where we are. We have been able to achieve everything here. So all you need to is now to format this section to look like this. So that will be your assignment. On Tuesday, we continue to discuss about this. So I'm going to share this code, right? I will share the HTML file, right? And I will share the CSS file. Already, I have linked it together. Remember, I'm using external. We have revised external style sheet. We have revised internal style sheet, and we have revised inline style sheet. So I will share these two files because those are the two files you need to conclude the work. Any questions so far?
No.
Any question on the assignment? Is the assignment clear enough?
yes.
Okay, so I'm going to stop recording now.